Okay, it is July 20th, and we are going to check and see if the one honey super has any activity in it, and see if the second brood box has enough stuff in it to throw a honey super on. So they should be pretty busy by now. We'll start by checking this one. And I'm going to be filming on my own, so we'll see how this goes. I'm hopeful this top brood box has honey stored in it and we can throw a second super on, but we'll see. I'm hoping it has at least some activity. Up in there, it's been on there a few weeks, probably a little premature when I placed it. We'll see how it goes. Turn this camera just a little bit. A lot of propolis in there. There we go. They've got it sealed up pretty good. Ooh, yeah, a lot of activity up in there. So if we see good, oops, I meant to smoke them. I found these hives, if I don't give them a little bit of smoke, then they kind of start to freak out a bit. So before I smoked them, man, they're really humming. I checked in here and there were bees all up in here. So I'm gonna start prying these up and seeing if they have honey stored in them. And if about 70% of this guy is full or has honey in it, there's nothing on this frame, which is normal for my hives. The outside frames often don't have much. I'm gonna pull that. So we've got good honey there. Got good honey there, or at least the start of it. Good honey there. Good honey there. Yeah, good honey production. So let me show you here. Trying not to get too far in there, but if you can see, these are just full of honey. The frames are full of honey. They've really built it out, and they've done that on this. I can see it just by looking down in there, full of honey. So I only have one empty frame and these two are started. So it's time for the second super. I'll lift one out and show you that has a lot of honey on it. Move this across. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, these are really full. A lot of propolis in here. So I'm going to show you this frame that's full. It's heavy. See how heavy that is? See it from the sides? It's thick with honey. And all of these frames across here are that way. So, I'll get my glove out of there. And make sure these are too. I don't want to pull things too soon, or put a second on too soon. Yeah, these are all pretty full, so I am going to slide those over. And put a second super on and let it ride for the next month or two. And I prepped that second super over there. So let me throw this in there. This second super, I made sure I put in all the frames that already had comb built out on them. So they don't have to work too hard. They just need to go and repair the repair them a little bit and and start storing honey. So that should be a nice boost to them. Okay, so let's get into this hive now. This will be a bit trickier because this one's so much taller than that hive. So trying to film it's gonna be kind of difficult. Let's see if we can do this without making a cruddy video. Right, let me just stop it and start it over. All right. See if I can make a video that's decent. I have a feeling I might need to go grab a second honey super if this brood box is full. Got smoke in there. Looks like good activity up top. Got my tool. Let's get some smoke down in there. It's hard to tell because these frames were pretty well developed when I put them together. But what I'm going to be looking for is some brood. So let me see if I can get this end frame out and create some space. I think this is the frame. Yeah, that's the frame that was busted. Dang it. Might have to come in here towards the middle and pry one out. This end frame was full of honey, but it was prying apart and I couldn't get it back together again. And I finally just said, I'll just throw it in there for the rest of the season and see what happens. So we're going to be looking for any brood or any work on this frame. They've built it out pretty good. See if I can, but I don't see any brood on there. Almost looks like an old queen cell right there. If I see brood up here, then we're throwing, oh yeah, tons of brood. So look at that. Whole bunch of brood on there. And I see the center one too, full of brood. So, let's just check these other frames. See if those are full. There's a bee. Oop, I thought that bee was inside my bonnet for a second. I was like, how'd it get in? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw a honey super on here. There's pretty good brood production across these frames. And I'm gonna try and slide this guy back down in there the way I pulled it out. Try and carefully lower this back in. I should have had a second honey super ready. I really didn't think this would be ready, but it is. Okay, I actually had a super just sitting in my garage, so it just took me a minute to go get it. And these frames are all filled out as well with comb. So they should be able to just get up in there and start storing honey. So we're gonna place this, and this is full of brood. This is full of brood. They haven't quite stored stuff or brood or pollen or honey on the edges, but they're close enough. So it's about 80%, 75% full. So let's get this honey super on and let them ride. All right, that pleases me. that those are doing so well. Second super on that guy and the first super on this guy. And this was a middle of June or something like that. Replace a dead hive with a nuke, and they were already flourishing. So, and it's funny because this one, the nuke looked so shoddy. I don't know if you remember that video. I thought I got scammed a little bit, but so far that queen's just hammering away, laying. So these bees here, you can see them flying in. You can see the pollen packets on their back legs. Sorry, you can see the pollen packets on their back legs when they land. Usually you can see that. There's one, there's another one. And this one's active as well. I'm gonna tear these bushes down. Even though they have flowers on them, probably should have left them. So they're going after, see this alfalfa? It's got this flowers on it. Well, they cut that field, but the fields all around us are just covered with alfalfa. There's alfalfa all through here. So they go from here, they go from the dandelions to the alfalfa. And then the pine trees and aspen trees and whatever pollen they can get. They're bringing it back in the hive. This one always appears less busy and active to me based on what's flowing in and out. I mean, you can see what looks like just a few in and out, a few in and out. But this one is just crazy busy. So the way bees operate is they come out and they kind of hover, and they go up and they hover, and then they go out from there. And when they come back, they kind of do the same thing. You can watch them come in and then come down. I can't film it on my camera because they're so small you wouldn't see them. They hover and then they come in. And they just have something inside. They can fly for miles if they want to and come right back to this point. If I moved my hives over to that field in the middle of the day, those that were out wouldn't be able to come back to it. They might eventually find it, but it would be disconcerting to them to even move the hives a little ways. So you leave them. If you ever move a hive, you move it preferably at night or in the late evening when they're all in, so you don't lose any bees, I guess. But I'll have to move this when we put our yard in sometime over the next month. So I'll need to move them forward, so I'll probably do that at night just off the property line into this easement and go from there. But I am super excited. We should have a really good honey harvest if things continue on the way they are. And I'll probably harvest, let's see, 2 months from now, maybe mid-September, maybe 2.5 months. So these honey supers should be full in the next couple weeks. And maybe I'll throw a second one on here and maybe even a third one on there. We only had 3 supers that had honey in them last fall. We got a full 5-gallon bucket, 50 jars. So if we can have 4 or 5 supers, that would be awesome. Very pleased. Hot summer day.